Hey, good morning.
Hey, Wei, good morning.
Very good.
Good,
How are
very
you?
good. Your background looks very good.
Awesome. You too. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Also, we'll wait for maybe 3 or 4 more minutes.
Okay, no problem. So one question. So, how do you guys handle the Q&A? So
Yeah, so
for,
we asked them to do on chat, and then we take that in the end.
oh, okay, gotcha.
All right. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining. So we have a pleasure of having Dr. Wei Qiu from NERC, and he's going to talk about a very important topic, ERO Event Analysis Process, and analysis of EMS events for recent 2019 and 2020. So Wei and I went to the same school long back. And then, he's currently a senior engineer of event analysis in the reliability assessment and performance analysis at NERC. As an EMS SME, he's responsible for analyzing all the EMS events reported, finding the root causes and trending, and also working with industry to develop remediation strategy. He worked at GE Grid Solution Redmond for several years as a software manager managing the EMS application, especially state estimation and real-time contingency analysis. And he's IEEE senior member. So with that, we'll stop sharing, and it's all yours, Wei.
Thanks. And I will go. Sorry, I was going to share my screen. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks. Can you guys see my screen? Okay.
We can. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thanks, Anu. Thanks, everyone. Good morning to you guys. Good afternoon to me. And today I'm very happy to be with you virtually and talk about the ERO event analysis process and share some analysis results based on the EMS event report through event analysis process from 2019 to 2020. My presentation might be different than other presentation you have heard before, because maybe you more focus on algorithms, renewable, and a lot of fancy and fresh items, cause right. But I'm come from a different world, regulation. So today I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to sharing is what the industry and the challenge and the issue industry facing, and also really need your guys' help. Maybe this issue is not very fancy or interesting, but it's critical to us because you may thought you may think the EMS or the algorithm is very mature. However, we still have a lot of old issues or traditional issues we haven't solved very well. We do need your guys' help from your study and bring new fresh idea, new fresh method to solve this kind of issue. Okay, this is my presentation agenda. First of all, I will talk about the NERC, basically who we are and what we do. And then we'll give some introduction about the ERO event analysis process, which is a very important process to us because all the data analysts and also trade today I'm going to sharing are based on this process. And we have several at the end of presentation of key takeaways. And just that Anu told me, well, you guys will hold the question at the very end. I'm happy to, but if you have any question that want me answer immediately, please stop me. I'm happy to answer right away. Okay. I think, okay. Maybe you may or may not know what NERC it is. NERC is a non-profit company. As basically it is dedicated FERC and government authority in Canada dedicated the authority to NERC to create and enforce compliance with some standards. So basically, it's just like we typically do four kind of things. First of all, as develop and enforce standards. You may hear like a TOP, PRC, and also OPC, some standards, or SIP. And also we also do the annual assessment for seasonal or long-term for 5 years. Recently we released the winter assessment and also summer assessment. Well, so we're looking forward foreseeing how the power energy margin and how the reliability margin for all the regions. If you see any issue, we'll give some analysis there and showing the data. And then the third things we do is monitor the PPS through the system wellness. For example, we'll observe some outages like Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Delta, see how much impact on our PPS. And also we monitor some cyber things. We have a dedicated the group called the EISAC. We dedicated monitor the cyber things. The last but not least, we also educate, train the industry personnel. So if you want to be some system operators, so you must got the NERC certificate, like RC certificate, or kind of like the system balance certificate before you can take the authority and also responsibility. This typically we have 6 regions so far. From the left to right, from west to east is a WAC. I know you guys know Washington State and in the WAC area. And we have a MRO, TXRE, IF, CERC, and MPCC. You may notice that at the beginning we have 8 regions, FRCC and SPPRC. Both regions dissolved a couple years ago due to lots of reasons, but all the regions, all entities merged to the CERC and MRO. So far we have 6 regions here. Here is our department overview. So we have 4 teams from, you can see from past, current, and future. From future, as just mentioned, we have some reliability assessment. This group is mainly focused on the future assessment, 5 to 10 years. Look at the generation margin. For example, we look at wind and solar, how they impact our BPS. Do we have enough margin for the summer or winter kind of severe weather? And for the current, we have a situation wellness team. This team is mainly focused on the event which currently happened in the past 24 hours. Every morning we receive the report from entities. They will report that the event occurred in the past 24 hours. They may lost some generation or transmission line being tripped by the misoperation. Also include the EMS outages like station, RTCA unsolved for more than 30 minutes, or they have some control room issues. For my team, we'll focus on event analysis. It's just looking at the event already occurred in 1 year. So when we look at this event, we try to figure out what's happened and why it happened, right? And the most importantly, we will see how the common theme between this event. Could we draft any useful information like lesson learned or alert kind of things to share with industry? So basically, we just try to share this good information to prevent the similar event from happening again. And the last team is called performance analysis. This kind of look at this event for more than 1 year. So because they look at, for example, for last 10 years, which factor or which impact the BPS mostly. For example, weather, right? Weather causes a lot of issues, hurricanes or tornadoes. But the important part, so we also think is how quick, how soon the system can recover back, right? Because restoration is is important because we cannot, stop hurricane or the tornado right now. But what we can do is try our best to relieve and minimize impact from such disasters. Before we talking about event analysis, so we need to understand what event is, how to define it. So we know event, right? Because we have a soccer game, football game, all the music, concert. We'll call this event. But in our regulation in the world, event is not like good word. It's not like happy the term. It's basically talking about is unwanted, undesirable change in the state, in the plans or transmission line. which caused the undesirable consequence to the to the safe, reliable operation plan system. Just like basically, just like you lost the transmission line, lost the power, or have a low shade, and also some states SE estimation or RTC unsolved, which caused that you lost the situation awareness, right? Because you don't know what's going on the field. With this event, can't be being driven by a lot of risks, right? Because maybe it's a software issue. For example, there's a state estimation diverge because they cannot handle such bad data. Or maybe it's a kind of like organization issue. So why say that? Because when you do some system upgrade, so you forgot to coordinate all the potential impacted department, working groups. So they cause the problem is the one group working on certain things, but the impact to the different department. However, that impacted department have no idea about what's going on. They cause a lot of issue, right? And also this kind of human performance, for example. So when the operator they forgot to turn on some breaker before he open breaker, right? Because they caused something. They forgot to ask peer review or supervisor review before they taking actions. So, we have lots of events caused by different reasons. So this means that we need is a standard and structured, consistent approach to perform the event analysis, right? Because so just I mentioned, I said before, we like to get good useful information from this event. So this means if we use a different method to analyze the event, we may get a different solution. We like apple compare apple, orange compare orange. So that's why we have a ERO event process here. So we build this process apply to all the kind of events. So we hope we get this, we use a standard method to evaluate this kind of event. So that means we can get the seminar or maybe go to seminar, get the good information based on seminar, the event, the method. So this is kind of, you can see the three box here. So first of all, we have an event source. So kind of at the beginning, so the entity will report the event to us through the OE417 form and the EOP004 form and other forms. First, the EOP004 and the OE470 are the mandatory form for this entity to report the event. Once the event meets some reporting the tolerance. For example, if you lost the 3 PPS elements, you need to report that. Or for example, you lost a load greater than 300 megawatt, you need to report that. However, a lot of events which not meet this criteria, but the entity still like share the event with us. They want to share the experience and share the challenge they are facing with the industry. And the most important part, they also can learn something from our event process. So they also report the event. Now, once we got this event, so NERC, regions, and the entity will work together to categorize this event. You see here. So we have a category 1, 2, 3, and until 5. So a category 1 is, for example, you lost unintended loss, the more than 3, the BPS elements, EMS outages, and go to 3 and 2 and 3, that means the event are getting worse. And the lost generation are greater than 300 megawatt. And we have 3, 4, and 5 is a very huge event, like caused by Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Irma. So once we know that they categorize this event, then we working with the entity to get a more detailed report. We call a brief report. in the brief report, we can know detailed about this event, what happened, when and how it happened. And also entity will tell us what is the post investigation, a post event investigation. Like maybe they talk about a vendor and do more testing, and they share the cost this event with us. And also we also conduct some coordination call with them to address several questions, because once we read the brief report, we may have some questions, say want to they be clarified, or maybe they want to they more updated. So we have a coordinated call with them. So after this process, right, we can got the event chain. Like I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes. So we see that from the back to in the 5 years, we can check how many events happened in this area, and what is current trend is increase or decrease, getting better or getting worse. And also we get a lesson learned, right? It's the most important part. Not all the event can result in lesson learned, but we learn from each event. Lesson learned is good things. We extract all useful information from event and then share with the industry. So we also can the products from EAP is we can just alert a report. For example, we a couple years ago we observed the entity experienced a lot of lost estimation RTCA event. So we issued an alert to help them to warning them. So please check your software and the settings, modelings, and talking to your vendors, and maybe you have the third party, the consultants, to make sure the RTCA and the estimation running well with the good quality regions. Ranges. And also we issue some report, like maybe you may know our EMS working group, NERC EMS working group published certain the reference document based on this kind of EAP results. They share some analysis and offer some recommendations, which is improve the EMS reliability resilience. As shown before. Okay, because for the EMS event, we also definition, because not all the EMS issues are qualified for the event. Highlighted here, first you need the loss monitoring or the control capability at the control center. You see the control center will have a two uppercase C. That means this control center is staffed. You have an engineer on site for this remote, unmanned control center is not counted. And also this event need to last for at least 30 minutes. If you solve this issue within 30 minutes, you don't have to report to us, but we're happy to learn, because the near miss event also is our target to study with. So within current EMS infrastructure, we may focus on these 5 examples, like complete loss, like a SCADA issue, a control room issue, and we have RT, and then second is RTU, third is ICCP, is AGC, last is estimation and RTCA. Maybe you will wonder why you guys didn't don't include the PMU or the other the applications. So we totally understand that. So far this is based on our current EMS infrastructure, which utilized in the industry. So we will expand this kind of definition once this is a renewable application or conversation widely used in the industry. Definitely we will expand our definition to include that. Okay, this is showing some trend here. So you can see from the trend start 2010 until this September to 2020. You can see it's a big jump here from between 2012 to 2013, because we introduced the new 1H definition before the October 2012 or before 2013. We only the scatter event or complete lost event being reported to us. So, but since October 2013, partial loss also reported to us, like lost AGC, lost RTU, lost estimation, also reported to us. So you can see the number of events being jumped a lot. Since then, so you can see the number of events quite of stable and the consistency is average is about the 80, maybe it's 80, 87, 88. It's just up and down here. But however, you can see this year is jump a lot, the jump a lot from the 2000, from the 83 in 2018 down to the 57 in this year. So you may wonder what's going on. This also this is two. I think it's two of reasons here. One is if you back to our before, you can see our reporting through these two standards. Maybe so the standard and the impact, or maybe we're really doing great in the industry. We solve this issue very quickly, and we have lots of software get stable. So I will get more detail in my following slides. Okay, so just as I mentioned, so we may focus on these 5 the EMS functions. So now we know the number of events getting declined. So we're wondering which function get most declined most, what impact our number of events. So let's look at it one by one. I think the first you see the AGC. It's kind of not just one or two events. This year, from last October, this is only 2 events related to AGC. However, you can see here, we have no event reported to our AGC event to ours between 2017 to 2018. These in 2 years period. But however, right now we have 2 events jump out here. So we will keep eyes on that, see what's going on. It's just a scale issue, or maybe it's just some study event. We'll keep eyes on that. And the second one is for ICCP. Again, this kind of type of event is kind of very interesting, right? You can see that every other years hit a peak, and the following year get a jump. See they get the last 52839 because from we're on one event since 2000 from between October 2019 to this September. We have 9 event is in the 2018-2019. This RTU event is keep a consistent. See the 7, 9, 9, 12. Okay, the other thing is for the scatter. So in the current EMS infrastructure, scatter is hard and a core function, right? Because this is they monitor, they got all the measurement and measurement from field and showing this kind of status to the operators, and also they feed this kind of measurement to downstream advanced application like AGC, estimation, RTC, or the other the applications, offline application. And then meanwhile, they also send the control back to field, right? For the AGC set point or also AGC status, they will send this set point back to field. So it's kind of very important. If you lose the SCAD, that means you lose everything because your estimation cannot get the latest information to perform the calculation. Also, you cannot send control to the field. So you can see here, it's since 2016, the event get quite stable, 23, 25, 27. because back to jump. Okay, I think this, you see this jump, the decline since 2015. So this because that's our industry that did a really good job to introduce, to reduce kind of the event. They add a lot of alarm functions, monitoring functions, and also build their own fiber or communication path to avoid a lot of communication loss and build redundancy. They build the fiber and the cable and build the microwave communication to the field. And the other one is see the estimation and the RTCA event. So you can see here between since October 2015, the number of RTCA and the SE event getting more and more. I can step by step, and from 28, 50, 40, 50, 52, and I reached the peak at the October 2017 and September 2018. This kind of this year, and after that, it get some decreased. This year is only decreased 50% comparing with the previous year, is down from 40 to 20. I think this kind of event is this kind of interesting. So there's you can see here is this is absolute value based on for the number of event is a percentage. You can see the we have from the October 2018 to the October 2016 to 2018, the lost SE and lost SE and RTCA is about 50%, more than 50%. Right now, it's jumped to the decline to the 35%. And also this scatter event increased. It's similar like this year is similar like the maybe 5 years ago as October 2014 to 2015 period, 35%, 49%. So we were wondering why cause this kind of trend change. So after that, so we talked to our industry and entities. We saw this kind of two issues here. One is the EOP 004-4. This may impact to our this chain. So just mention the EOP 004 is one of the main event resource to EAP and also for our event analysis. So this last year is a major change to this standard as only complete loss is required to report to us. So in other words, so if you lost the estimation or RTCA, that means you don't have to report to us. That means we impact the event reporting issue. So back to here, you can see the decline, right? So this event, that's EOP 004-4, went to event effective in April 2019. It's between this period, between this kind of year. So you can, this is a reason there's a number of state station RTCA getting declined since the 2 years ago. Also, the other things we talk to our industry because industry made a great effort to reduce kind of event. First of all, they implement as a future and procedures to comply the real-time assessment, this standard requirement. And also after a couple of years, this software gets stable and they tune this software and also working with the vendor to add more the features and fix some bugs as well. And the other thing is COVID-19. So COVID-19 impacted us a lot. Also bring some good impact to us because we will force our industry to review and enforce a lot of plans to make sure that's our normal operation continue without any impact. So we have lots of plans to make sure that destination RTCA are running well. Once have some event occurred, a lot of effort and main resource will jump in to resolve this issue. The second effort the industry made is they build strengthen in-house expertise. Now many entities build the dedicated team 24/7 support on site. So the once they have this on-site support within 24/7, right, unlimited the support. So once the event they will have a they are able to resolve this event within 30 minutes. So this issue can become not reportable to us. And the other things is industry and our entities work with our the EMS vendors. They have a lot of webinar, workshop, and the training for the knowledge transfer from vendors. And also look at the good things, how can we improve us? So we have lots of challenges. So we're facing right now. It's not as like new things. It's bother us many years. So we do our best right now to solve this one, but we still have a lot of room to improve ourselves. The first though is external modeling and the model exchange. We all know, right? Model is critical and vital to EMS. Without the correct, the accurate model, EMS function cannot generate or give the right solution, garbage in, garbage out. And then currently our entity try to expand the model to a lot out of their footprint because they want to get the bigger and bigger the situation because they want to know what's going to happen in the neighbors. So they model they are using. Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, somehow I lost the kind of sorry about that. I have some issue, technical issue here. Can you guys see my screen or hear me?
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
thank you. So sorry about that. The kind of things because they try to expand the model to the outside the footprint because they want to get more the situation, see what's going on in my neighbors. So they get the model. So they add a lot of external modeling, transmission, generation kind of things in this EMS model. And also they have got a lot of measurement, right, from the neighbors. But however, once they get these kind of things, they need a reduction, right? Because the software cannot hold entire things, and also they cannot get all external measurement. So they get the reduction equivalence. They call the tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 for these buffers. So they also this is caused one problem. The other things, so we have a multiple EMS vendors. But unfortunately, one challenge is the vendor use different model, right? Because every vendor has their modeling facility, like SCA, GE, and also for Siemens, OSI. The model cannot exchange or using without any adapter. So this causes one problem. So for example, if I use a GE model, when I export, so the one using OSI cannot use that. So they have to use the SIM to convert as the median layer for the translation. However, a lot of information lost in this translation. And also you have an EMS model versus market model, right? Because for example, PGM have a market model and the EMS model, but however, market model doesn't need a lot of reactive the settings, because they don't care. The only ones care is a real power issue. So however, EMS need both reactive and real power settings like AGC for the transformer tabs, phase shift tabs is very important for EMS. And also just mentioned, also naming is different. Maybe you call this name A, I call it AA, how they map each other. It's kind of a challenge with us. And the second challenge we are facing is bad data detection. This question is things a long time ago. We're talking about how to detect this bad data, and we have bad data detection almost all EMS softwares, right? But still it's about us right now, because a lot of bad data with good quality is a SCADA status, right? Because some transmission line is limited. So for example, it's a transmission line, the limit is 500. However, the measurement is 10,000, right? Because the SCADA quality for this measurement is good, excellent. So if SE directly use this 10,000 measurement, the SE will diverge, right? Because they cannot, that will cause a huge residuals. So you cannot smash to the other neighbors. So that means you need to detect to this such bad data, right? And the second question is, after you detect him, found out it's a bad guy, so what do? It's just yank it out, and what data will fit in that hole, right? Because you may use the scheduled data. However, scheduled data is not that accurate. Or maybe use the last good data. So how do you define the last good? Is the last 30 minutes, last hour, or last second? Even the last good, even also is a better data. How you determine is last good, or maybe from some surrounding calculation based on the other good measurements around. So a lot of things there. So first need to detect, second replace. Now how? By the way, a lot of the new things you may use AI, right? Because they use the training to train this data, get us to the historical, or maybe use a PMU, because you have a very frequently got a multiple data. You can choose good from one of them. Anyway, it's kind of a lot of an issue here with because we see a lot of event caused by the neighbor, the bad data fit in. And the other challenges for us is alarming, because alarm doesn't cause the problem, but alarm, if alarm could not configure correctly, that will make the event worse, right? Because maybe for example, if an event happen, if I got alarm, I can jump in, get it solved as soon as possible within 30 minutes. How if alarm was not configured or setting properly, I may not get alarm. So I don't know what's going on. This event will longer and longer, means big, and that's worse, they will get more the huge event, right? So we think for the SE and the estimation RTCA event. So when you think about more the status, not only diverge, if SE diverge, you need to issue alarm. Crashing issue, you also need to issue alarm. No triggered, for example, right now, if you're familiar with the industry, the software, so SE, RTCA, and SE will trigger frequently a period maybe with 2 minutes, every 2 minutes, every 30 seconds. So if not triggered in next 30 seconds, you may have some alarm say, hey, why it not triggered? Also, they triggered running very well, solved very well. However, the SE and the CA use the stale data to calculation for still bad, right? Because you're supposed to use the latest data. That means you repeat the same results multiple times. That create means you black your eye, you block your eyes, imagine everything's fine, right? Because you need to set a lot of state. And also for alarm, you need to set the AOR, because for the area of responsibility. Because not alarm, because each operator has the area to responsible. So the alarm only need to send to the guy who really need the alarm. And also you also need the independent alarm. Because why we say that? So we see a lot of things is this alarm application in the EMS crashed. Of course, this alarm application cannot issue any alarm, right? Because it looks everything's fine, right? At this moment, you need the third independent alarm to, we means watchdog, to watch this event, watch this entire EMS event, EMS system, or this EMS alarm system. Make sure this alarm system working very well. So you can use a Pi or the third party the application to monitor the EMS system. Make sure this EMS still working right. Then the other thing is the software testing. It's the same thing for us. So when I was in the college, my advisor we also do coding, right? For use a lot of language to coding and also debugging. And my advisor told me test your application, test your software. To the more the test, the more comfort you got, right? When I joined the vendor, the GE, the grade, the more important part is the testing, right? Once you implement your application, implement the code and the writing code, you need to do a lot of testing, like regression testing, incremental testing, so on. It's a similar things for our industry. So now our industry use more advanced the software implemented by the C++, Java. Also, the software utilize lots of fancy features like cloud, web services. These which good things that bring a lot of benefit to us, like speed calculation and bring a lot of services as well. Meanwhile, also getting a lot of side effect, right? Because they use memory sharing or a lot of memory calculation. So the problem is how could we prevent the memory corruption and memory leak? Because our industry are not like IT, right? Because we are not IT the expert. May not every people or operator has this kind of CS background. So and also for the memory corruption, the memory leak is not easy to detect just one testing. They need testing for a period long time because the memory leak is incremental. For today, just a little bit. Tomorrow, more and more and more and more. So need to test them for a longer time before push this software to online for the services. So that means we will ask for the end vendor improve your qualities, do the testing, do the in-house testing as much as you can. And for the entity, we'll suggest one complete test procedure, like you have a scope, testing scope, what do you want to test, and testing design. You may design how do you contact to your testing, right? Also execution, and you can do multiple ways. You can use black box testing. You can have some unit testing. You can use typical testing, and also lastly is a testing conclusion. How you have what is a criteria said that this feature is passed the test. This feature is a failed test. And for the CPU issue, we also suggest the entity can increase the CPU or system memory to the extremely level, right, if possible. Because it's the current the system or computer is shared by lots of softwares, like you have some Pi and the system, the OS and the Oracle database and the EMS functions. They all need a memory, CPUs. Also, that also maybe entity install the the virus software as well, right? They need to scan the virus and kill this virus. Also need the memories. So we need to push all this kind of CPU usage at a very high level to make sure the system, the software can run. And also if they failed, and they failed to the design away, because you need the debug information, why they failed, right? Because we need to make sure this fail is by design, because the software able to catch this error and through the right debugging information, know what's going on for the debugging, and we can then after that we can share this information with the vendor. They can provide a patch fix and to us. All right, I think this is more my last page for my presentation as just several takeaways. The first of the EMS reliability resilience is continually improved. So we see the SCADA event is getting stable. SCADA is most important, the EMS function so far, right? Because we see the number of SCADA events consistent, stable is not a huge the increase. It's almost 25, 23. So it's stable there. So we have a lost SE and event lost SE and is getting declined. They impacted by both. As one is EAP 004, maybe impact to event reporting. And meanwhile, we have the industry make great effort, like software get stable and build the the in-house expertise and the dedicated team to provide the better response speed. And also we see something we could improve for us. First, the external modeling, how you improve, how you model external model, right? Because how you define the tier one, tier two, and how you exchange your model with your neighbors, with your RC, right? Because they may use different vendor. You may use a SIM model, but however, SIM just provide the some algorithm provide the structure, but the data needed but the data you could put any data in there, right? Could you how you define the data is most of the challenge. And so the other thing is better data detection. Is a traditional questions, how you detect and how you replace for this bad guy. And alarming is without alarm, the system operator lost all kind of sense, right? They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going on, and also cannot provide immediate the solution to resolve to fix the problem. The last one is the software testing. So right now our EMS based on all the functions software provide our vendors. So and also this software they implement a lot of advanced application, advanced computer languages. So then we need the complete the testing procedure and the run to failure the kind of testing to make sure our software able to run to the very high level usage of the system, and also once they fail, they can provide necessary the debug information. We can show with vendor, and the vendor can provide a patch and show with the patch or the fix with all the entities. I think that's all. Anu is all my the presentations. I do see several.
Yes, yeah, excellent presentation. I think Wei, thanks again. That was very useful information, and I think kind of emphasized the fact of importance and issues in industry. So these questions in chat box,
All right.
we can start one by one.
Okay. I think the first one is from Venkat, and in other words, how to define bad data? Is any th threshold based on the assessment to define the bad data? Yes, bad data you can, because if you read the traditional the algorithm, you know, lots of paper, they talk about the bad data. They can, based on the statistic. First of all, you can use a chart the test, right? Because you can calculate the sum, I forgot. You can calculate the mean, variance, standard deviation, right? Kind of things to compare with, because each measurement they have the accuracy class. This means how much you trust, you define what level you trust this data. For the internal, you trust more, you can give the 99% or even 100%. I trust the data. And for external, you may not have a sure to the data is how accurate. You can make give them 75% or 80% is kind of definition. Maybe it depends on the voltage level, right? And voltage level is for 50 kV, because they may follow 50 kV this level. Industry may install the more accurate the device there, you more trust in them. Definitely we can calculate for each measurement, we can calculate that. But however, and also it's not even, because you see the problem here, so it depends on how you trust that. So if you didn't give the good accuracy class or sign the wrong accuracy class, the bad data will still can sneak in the calculations. So this problem here is how you do this. So we see a lot of a paper, and also industry vendor also implement a lot of functions, but we still cannot see this. It improve a lot, but still have some issue there. And the second question is, how do you see the bad data is problem specified or general view in the term transition? You answer these kind of things. Because our definitely it's good questions right now for this transit event or transit event. I are not reported to us. Just mention, see, we have the event last for 30 minutes. So if you event lasts for 30 minutes, definitely you are not a transit event. Okay, the third question. In other words, can you expand the bad data? Understand, just answer that, right? Can you expand the impact of fast process capacity and mix for the bad data seminar? Yes, very good questions. So far, PMU, to be honest, PMU is not very widely used in our industry. Why I say that? Because first of all, for the high voltage kV level, we have the data accurate enough. We don't need that much the PMU measurement. Also, they cost lots of to be honest, that our industry doesn't see much benefit from PMU so far, but definitely we will recommend use PMU as the backup for state estimation and RTCA, because once you use the PMU data, you can directly use a linear state estimation, right, to calculate this angle and also voltage directly. So we will suggest in our industry use a PMU as a backup, the solution for traditional state estimation and RTCA. I hope this answer your question. So the next question is from Anurag. So network topology problem caused by bad data resulting will be scattered in. Yes, good questions, because I think it will be in SE, because scatter doesn't need scatter. To my best knowledge, scatter just show the status, right? Because they didn't do topology, the calculation. They didn't build a topology, and also not all the transmission operator has the measurement for the break on or off. And so this is why I need the estimation do the topology first before they can do estimation calculation. I think it's a topology error is more cost data in the SE level because the scatter. So we still see that lots of measurement. Say on the open line, they have a good measurement, or maybe they have the close breaker, but the measurement angle, the analog measurement for the flow is 0. So we see a lot of kind of things. So the scatter is not able to detect such topology error, but SE can do this because SE first they build a topology based on breaker, the status. They can quickly expand the topology. They know what's going on and then assign the look at. Based on that, they look at the analog issue. The other way to bring the other issue is a chicken and egg. So which one you trust? If you trust the topology, then you need against the analog measurement. If you trust an analog measurement, you can check that the digital or maybe status measurement. And the next question from Venkat, can you talk about the reporting rate, data process rate, effective defecting? I don't have this kind of rate here because it depends on vendor software. So and also we don't have such a standard or requirement for the industry or to vendors how much you need that. So as long as I think for my personal knowledge, for SCADA you run every 2 seconds, and the SE and the RTCA you can run depending you can run 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and so you can run different rate. And the next one from Sabir. Here you rely on partner event, probably how you enforce that. It's good questions. And are the event analysis process is a voluntary process. We don't force a report. We don't force our entity to report the event. However, this entity, they need to comply to the other standards like EOP 004 and OE 417. They need to report kind of event to us. Let me put it a different way. Maybe let me clear. For event process, event analysis process, this process is voluntary process. We used the entity can refuse to participate in this process. It's no any obligation or mandatory for entity to join to participate in our event and analysis process. However, entities are required to report the event through the OE 417 and EOP 004 as long as the event meet the reporting criteria. I hope this answers your question. Next question from Amir. What caused SES crash? How the different diverge? Yeah, it's a good question. The crashing, crashing means this executable is disappeared. For example, you can see the IE right crashing, right? For example, for IE, they suddenly the software the Windows get the blue the screen kind of things we call is crash. The software the estimation of the executable disappeared. When you're running crashing, because for example, the divided by 0, or maybe the array greater than the array get the exceed the maximum, right? Or get the memory crashing. This we call is crashing. And the diverge means that the mismatch or resilient, so residuals or the greater than tolerance you defined is totally different. Because a crash means the software cannot handle this data, this crashing. This, the diverge means the bad data creates then also, because for example, that there's better data, for example, get the measurement, get the 1000 MVA on the 100 MVA capacity lines. So, right, you see the mismatch residual here. So, however, you define the conversion tolerance is 1 megawatt. Definitely, you cannot solve this kind of big mismatch within 1 megawatt. So, the software tells you diverged. Right. And the next question from Sabir. When you see SECA diverged, do you mean system-wide? If the local does affect, it's very good question. It's very good question. So the currently are the SE and the industry or the industry software or the global. However, our entity and also for our event EMS vendor, they are defined, they develop something called local SE and local CA. So global means you just have a one convergent tolerance, right? One megawatt and 1 megavar for convergent. However, for the local, that means a different zoom, a different area. For example, for external area, for company 1, you have a one defined diverge. Company 2, you have a day on diverge or tolerance. For your internal area, you may have different things. So they design this. If external area diverge, just let that diverge. What you can do is just add kind of things in the tie line to make sure the tie line has a good injection to your in-network, right? Because you may have the pseudo load, pseudo generation over there to mimic external area. So the external means external diverge, converge doesn't impact to your internal things because you're more concerned your internal area. Yes, it's a very good question. So our industry is think about also this kind of a different layer of conversion, external one, external and internal. They may have a different conversion tolerance. And the last, yes, it's the last question from Venkat. Can you get real-time data for the research purpose? I cannot answer this question because even ours cannot get its real-time event data. You have to work with the entities because we have an NDA. We cannot, it's a SIP, right? We cannot share this event data with without this NDA sign. So I think maybe you can through some official channel, through the industry or national lab you are working on, talk to our NERC, legal, definitely through the legal will science, see how could we provide kind of things. Because we do have some cooperation or collaboration with Oregon, also the other PNL National Lab, also they can see some event. Also the other university, we do have some the working relationship. But however, I cannot give you yes or no from a question. You may need through the official channel to get the kind of feedback. Last questions is from Sabir. Is thank you, the external presence. Thank you so much. You are welcome. I appreciate it. It's a set of slides confident. If not, it's okay. Feel shares. I will I will go through our legal department to see if they are okay to share some. But I think it's okay. But I will double check and get back to Anurag and see the yes or no. Because all the data we need to very concerned right now with sharing this data kind of things. I think I think it's the last question. I hope I answer all. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much, Wei. And I think you can see that how much interest it was with your presentation. So,
Yep.
so very good. And in terms of this slide that you just presented, I think that should be okay to share, right?
Yep. Yes. But I will need to get the hard copy, the permission from our legal department.
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah.
I
So
know you made the record, this kind of things is fine, but please don't post right now before until I give you answer. Okay, thanks.
okay. Yeah. So we'll not share till I hear back from you.
Mhm.
Thanks again, Wei, and potential, answering all the questions for the, so there are many actually after a long time, and look forward to talk with you again, and thanks everyone for attending. Have a
Thank you
good
all. Bye bye.
day. Bye.